Hi everyone, welcome back to The Learning Gardener. If you haven't been here before, my name is Pip and we are in high tea party planning mode. We have been working in this area of the garden all week to tidy things up. I've still got to take the big box of stuff that isn't going into the compost out to the garbage bin, but last night my best friend's son helped me move this glass table from round in the courtyard to here in the front part of the back garden for his mum's big birthday on the weekend, which we are doing a high tea for because that's what she wants to do. So it does need a good clean off, which we will do round one of today, but I will actually clean this off on the day of the party because it'll just get dew covered again overnight and need another wipe down that day anyway. But we're really hoping for good weather this weekend so that we can have the chairs set around here and have maybe some fairy lights in the arbors as well, because they're coming in the afternoon because they've got all important cricket finals first. But I'm hoping that we can enjoy it here because it'll be beautiful in the afternoon as long as it's not too hot. But with the arbor as a backdrop, it'll just be lovely. And we've got the potted garden just beside and the 2 roses either side. But there's a lot of work still to be done to be ready for this high tea. Because as nice as this looks, the state of affairs on the deck, it's diabolical. There's really no other way to describe it. It is such a mess. I've got Rafa's agility equipment that I got him for his Christmas present that I was like, I'm going to be so good and provide him so much enrichment and training, and he loves it. And I left it here so that we would do it again after Christmas, and we never did. And that was 12 months ago. Oh, we've also got a whole range of seed starting stuff and pots everywhere. The seed starting stuff I think we can put away because I started a whole bunch of seeds last night. I've still got some more empty space on the trays, but I think we can, worry about that another day. But we've got like leftover building material here. We've got a whole bunch of stuff that the puppies have just strewn everywhere because they love to wrestle in and around here for some unknown reason, because it's really, the best place to wrestle. We've got heaps of leftover building stuff and heaps of stuff that needs to or could go down to the garden shed, but I often leave it here because it's just so much easier to come here, grab it, put it back when I know I'm going to be using it over the next few days than go back and forth to the garden shed. It's just me being lazy. And there's stuff in every corner. We've got a whole bunch of stuff that either never made it to the tip, never made it to the garden shed, or never made it to wherever it was supposed to be and just kind of got put here when we moved and shuffled off into the corner and never dealt with because we desperately needed a shed when I moved in and did not have one. And now I've got the shed. I really need to put it away. But the trouble is I don't love cleaning. I love the aftermath. Well, I shouldn't say aftermath. This is the aftermath. But I love the after effect, and I suddenly realize how much the mess has been weighing on me and all of that, but I just hate doing it. And we really need to, but at least now, because the builders have finished in this area, I feel like I'm not cleaning it just for it to be trashed again, says the person who trashed it. There's a whole bunch of stuff over here that needs to get put away, and to be honest, it's such a mess I can't even really believe I'm showing this to you guys, but this is life. But recently we had this part of the deck panels put back down. They were all lifted up and they were up for ages because when I moved in, we moved the kitchen, which meant we need to put a pipe that came out of this wall and run it along here. And to do that, we needed to lift part of the deck because the crawl space under the deck is like this high because whoever built this deck did a stellar job. But on the plus side, because they for some reason built up the dirt under the deck, that's now where all the native bees are nesting. So I just watched a little teddy bear bee go in and under and into its little tunnel, which was really cute. And then I watched another one get eaten by a lizard. That was less cute, but whatever. But I mean, we've got a whole bunch of stuff here. So we've got sawhorses and we've got paint and we've got so much stuff. My dad recently brought up a whole bunch of kindling and sticks for winter, and the dogs found those boxes and put them everywhere. They also found the cardboard he brought for the garden and ripped it to shreds. So that's all over the deck. Now we may need to deal with this trash pile that I've been calling a deck, But let's talk about what we're going to do with it. So Rachel, if you're watching, this is your warning to block your ears for 20 seconds so that your birthday party's not ruined. What we're going to do is use this table here as the food table. So the glass table that I was showing you guys down in the garden doesn't have enough space for all the food and platters, and we're going to put up bunting because Rachel loves bunting and fairy lights along the roof. So we've got a lot to do. And it's getting hotter and hotter, and this deck does work a little like an oven. So I better get to it, and I don't really know where I'm gonna start. Both of my dogs love chewing on sticks, so this box of kindling that my dad brought was just too much for them to resist, and so it is absolutely everywhere, and you'll see later that all around the dog bed areas are chewed up sticks that just cover the deck. So this is something I hope to stay more on top of, but it's likely to be a recurring problem with two dogs. When I'm sowing seedlings, if I have any previous attempted seedlings that haven't germinated, I tend to put that failed soil into a little bucket and take it down to the compost bin. So I added the cardboard to that soil and popped it all down in the compost bins. It just means that if there's still seeds that might germinate with a delayed time, that in compost bin they will most likely become useless, and the soil then becomes useful as compost. I have also had trouble with a batch of seed raising mix having a lot of weeds in it, so at least this way I am not throwing out the soil and I'm making use of it. These green bags I got from Temu. I used them to keep the birds and the fruit fly off the tomatoes, and
fairly unsuccessfully off the blackberries, and I had tried to wash them in the washing machine to clear out everything and then dry them on the deck, but they still never really cleaned up properly. I'll still use them again next year, but I had just kind of left them on the deck after drying them out, and always meant to take them back down to the garden shed, but just never got that far.
We are not done, but it is a hell of a lot better. And I just thought, while I was trucking things down to the backyard to put in the shed, which desperately needs reorganization, I might as well bring up some wood for winter to save myself a couple of trips and be more efficient, but that did slow things down a little bit. I was also slowed down by the fact that I'm still having to negotiate keeping Birdie and my mum's dog Dobby, who attacked her the other day and bit her twice and actually broke her skin. I'm still trying to keep them separate because there's 3 dogs and there's only one of me, and yeah, I don't want to deal with that until my dad's around to help if we need to, but also I just want to give them both a chance to decompress. And Rafa, while being the intermediary between both dogs, has also been bringing me his soccer ball every 45 seconds. So it does make it difficult to do things and to sweep and things like that, but you can see it's looking a lot better, but far from finished. Now I'm sure you can still see a lot of mess behind me. That's because there still is a lot of mess. We've got to clean the table. It's got to be like scrubbed. I've got to scrub the chairs. I've got to bring the chairs for the glass table up and clean the glass table and those chairs too. Some of this stuff needs to go to the garage, like the fold up tables and my dad's wheelie thing that I can't think of the name of right now that helps you move heavy things. I've got to work out where I'm going to keep Rafi's agility equipment. We've still got some stuff that needs to go in the garbage bin, but the garbage bin is full and is not going to get emptied for 2 days. I've got this indoor plant stand that really has no plants and ideally need plants, but it needs to make its way indoors. Difficult to do when you're keeping dogs separate. There are mosquito coils that need to get set up, a winter wood barrel that I might as well fill while I'm filling things, and there's still this mess which I've done absolutely nothing about, and I think I might even have to do a tip run to clean it out because I've got a very small garage, a small garden shed, and the shed was looking kind of full, and I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to put away everything until I've reorganized the garage shed, which is fabulous that we're going to have to do that job at the same time. But there's a bunch of stuff here that I really don't want to keep, but I haven't had a chance to even go through it yet, so we'll have to do that tomorrow. All in all though, it's looking a hell of a lot better than before. It's much less den of chaos. But Rachel, block your ears for 20 seconds. We still need to put the fairy lights up, the bunting up, we need to get the party decorations going, and we just need to get everything clean. And hopefully I can do all that tomorrow. We can come back because it's been a pretty hot day out here, so we've been in and out and dealing with the dogs, so drama, always drama. But we'll hopefully come back and finish this off, and hopefully it'll be a satisfying finish to a massive cleanup job.
When I bought this daybed, I had grand plans of relaxing in the sun and reading a book, but from the minute I adopted Rafa as a puppy, he decided that this was his special spot, and he commandeered it and started eating his snacks on it. So I never wanted to sit on it again, and it is officially Rafi's spot now. So usually I have a blanket over the top to minimize any damage, because it's a difficult cover to wash, and as you can see, he likes to make himself comfy on it at any given moment. Sometimes he and Bird will sit up there and snuggle together, which is really cute to see, especially given all the trauma that Birdie's been through. It's lovely that she has such a bonded partner now. Most of the time as I worked, I had 1 or 2 dogs following me around, and the third one pressed up against the window looking outside onto the deck to see what was happening. But once I sat down to organize the mosquito coils and get them all set up for the weekend party, because we have had a terrible season for mosquitoes, I couldn't get more than 2 coils put in without getting a big cuddle from the dogs, which, to be honest, was one of the nicer things that happened on this day, and it was kind of a lovely reason to slow down for a minute. After Dobby bit Birdie, I've still tried to give all 3 dogs fairly equal attention, but Bird has been a little bit more needy. There are a lot of similarities between Birdie and Dobby, but Dobby crossed the line when he bit her, and that has meant that they've needed to stay separate, and it has also meant that Birdie's confidence has been knocked, which has been sad to see, and she's needed a lot more cuddles. If you haven't seen any of my other videos recently, this is Dobby, my mum's new rescue pup, who was in a kill shelter scheduled to be euthanized, and we adopted him. And he's had like a non-ideal start to our family in that my parents then went away for holidays, but we didn't want him in the kill shelter. And I think really he's a human-loving dog more than a dog-loving dog. And the poor chap really has absolutely no impulse control at all. And I think that creates some of the problems. Plus, he's obviously been starved for affection and food before, so that is creating some of the issue. He has put on 3 kilos in the week that I've had him, but he was skin and bone when we picked him up, so that's good. Whilst not technically part of the cleanup, what I wanted to do was be efficient with my time, and seeing I was already going up and down the backyard taking things to the shed, I thought I might as well bring some firewood back up so that I don't have to make additional trips as we get closer to the cooler weather in April and May. And I'm hoping that at some point soon it does cool down, because it has been hideously hot for the last few days. And we're still a long way away from needing the fireplace to be ready, but I figured I might as well make the most of the distance I was traveling up and down the backyard and make use of the trolley and fill the fire buckets and start to fill the fire area where I kept 1 to 2 weeks supply of dry wood last season. I had to build this area last season because we had 12 straight weeks of rain in winter last year, and the wood down the backyard was just absolutely soaked. And often when there's heavy rain, the neighbour's bamboo actually flops over the fence and can leak water onto the deck and onto this area of the firewood. So I strung up this tarp, and I actually meant to take it down at the beginning of spring but never got that far. But you can see how I use it to keep the firewood nice and dry, and hopefully next time I get the wheelbarrow or the little trolley out, I'll bring up some more wood so that I have a nice supply there, but I don't need to do any more for now. To hang the bunting up, I decided to drill holes into the columns and add some screw hooks. The hooks are going to make it more versatile for me than, say, nails. I'm going to be able to hang things or use them for, in this instance, bunting, because bunting is one of Rachel's favorite things, and it took me a couple of goes to work out how best to hang it and distribute it across the deck, and it looks actually really lovely. Bunting is not usually my thing, but it actually looks really nice.
It has been a massive effort, but we are pretty much done. So I've done my first wipe down layer of the chairs and the tables. They're going to need obviously another one, seeing it's been such a long time since they've been wiped down. I've done an initial wipe of the glass table, and tomorrow I will full on spray the chairs and clean them, but it's supposed to rain overnight, so I'm kind of hoping that the rain might do some of it. But you can see things are a touch clearer. So not everything is going to fit in the shed at the moment, or likely at all. So I've just kind of done the best I can with what I've got. So we've got all the spare bits of wood that need to find a task or a job or something to make use of them, and they're all here. And then while we were trucking back and forth to the shed down the back, we brought up, I mean, we could probably get through a week if we really had a cold week, quite happily now, but at least we are starting to get prepared for the cold season. The nice thing about having that up is it's one less thing I have to do down the track, and for now it's just an easy thing to do while you're running back and forth to the backyard. We got the bunting up. It took a few goes to get it sort of distributed as well as I possibly could. It is kind of like a floral lemon theme, which is right up Rachel's alley. Not my jam, but I actually kind of like how it looks, so it might stay there for a little while. I'm hoping it doesn't rain too heavily and get all soggy and moldy before the weekend, but we are running out of time to do all the things. I am halfway through stringing up the solar lights, and because they're solar lights and it's like something like 6 p.m. now, they haven't charged up at all, so they won't work tonight, and I kind of been test to make sure all the light bulbs are working, which is kind of annoying. But they're halfway up, and once I'm finished filming this, I'm going to finish that. I just wanted to make sure everything was kind of wiped down first while I still had some light, and I reckon I should be able to finish this before it goes dark, and then I'll be able to put the ladder away. This area was a little bit trickier, again, because there's limited storage space, like quite limited in the garden shed. We've got a bunch of cardboard here, which I'm going to be using on a garden project at some time in the future, just to smother out the grass. So that's going to go at some point soon, but I don't have anywhere to put it in the interim. And we've got Rafi's agility equipment over here, a garbage bin, and a whole bunch of empty storage bins. Now these storage bins are actually really good quality ones, so I don't want to chuck them. And I've got nowhere else to put them. The house has very little storage. There's very little storage in the garage and in the shed, so here they sit for now. And the puppy beds are side by side, and we've got dog bowls and stuff around, but at least it's clear and we're not tripping over total chaos now, and it actually looks kind of nice and clean, and I can't believe it's taken me this long to get around to doing this job. By the back door, we've got some firewood ready to go, and we've got the plant stand that needs to come inside at some point, but it kind of needs to have some plants on it first, so I will worry about that another time. Even the seedling area is looking really lovely, and I love how the bunting kind of frames that area. We've got our olive trees off to the side here, and we've got our little bird feeder just behind the bunting, and hopefully soon we'll have fairy lights to light this up every evening, and hopefully it's going to look absolutely beautiful. And I hope you guys have enjoyed coming along with me as I spent 2 days cleaning up this nightmare zone and getting it to be much more functional, a lot cleaner, and ready for a high tea garden party. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one.